Yo, yo, yo. We are live and direct.
Knockout Canvas,
Uh-oh.
episode
I think
3.
I hear some I
Keep
think
hearing
you
that
do you
bell.
have do you have it running in the background or
Oh, my
something?
bad.
Yeah,
Sorry, guys. That was the bell for the
I know.
YouTube channel. We are live. I see it on Twitter. Very nice. Love the Twitter crowd, Turf.
Yes.
Love the Twitter crowd.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So talk to us, man. What's going on with you? How you feeling today?
Feeling good. Feeling good. Saw you earlier. You're doing your stuff with Rundown and everything, doing the Raider stuff. But like I
Dessert.
said, man, there's only one sport that everybody's talking about this week, baby. There's, there's only one press conference that's happening from Monday all the way to Friday. There's only
Right.
one weigh-ins you got to pay attention to, bro. Like when you're looking at a ticker, there ain't much to look at. There's
Right.
no NBA.
Right.
There's no. I mean, unless you're really into baseball, but in the middle of the season, nobody's watching baseball in the
Nobody's
middle,
watching baseball.
right? Come
Not
on,
even a
baby. It's
little
all
bit.
about boxing. And especially for everybody who's listening to us on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, on the YouTube channel, Facebook.
Oh,
If you
stop.
guys are in New York, you know what I'm talking about. This is so cool that what is still called at times the Mecca, right? New York is the Mecca. And it used to be, Turf, back in the day, the Mecca of boxing. I don't think it is anymore though, because
Right.
I still say that it's going to be a toss up between Las Vegas and Riyadh, Saudi Arabia now.
Yep.
But New York has two fights happening this weekend. One,
Hey.
as we have on our title, what they are calling, they called it today in the press conference, as the greatest fight card ever put together. Now I don't know about all that.
Hey, that's
I
a
don't
that's
know.
a lot to say. Yeah.
That's a lot to say. But what's crazy is there's Guinness Book of World Records is going to be there because this one fight card has 17 world title bouts, all being sanctioned.
Jesus.
It has 3 undisputed championships being sanctioned.
Right.
So, in terms of a statistical standpoint of belts, it's kind of like, I guess, a Super Bowl style of arena. But I think it's a really big thing just because it's for women's boxing, and it's never been showcased like this in the U.S. before. And you had a lot to say on our episode 2 about women's boxing, and
Yes.
you were explaining it, the difference on as to why women's boxing can actually be popular.
Absolutely, 100%. You still have everything that you get in the men's side, right? You get the knockouts. You get the people that are just naturally more athletically gifted. You get the fast ones. You get the people with power. It translates, unlike a lot of sports where men are just right naturally the better of the sexes, if you will, in terms of
Would,
what's
would you
capable.
would you say that women's boxing translates extremely well, especially because there's so much action that it's only a 2-minute round. So
Yes.
there's always blood and action, right?
Yes.
And would you say that the closest thing that maybe translates maybe is tennis? Would you say that women's tennis translates pretty well?
I would, yeah. Tennis definitely. Again, mano y mano, you're not gonna, you're gonna see where certain women like right Serena and Venus Williams have way more power than other girls, and it translates no different than men, right? There are some men that just have way more power.
Right, right.
But comparable, you know what I mean, on the scale of men to women, I think it's 1 for 1. Unlike basketball, for instance, where for both men and women, the height of the hoop is 10 feet. We all
Right,
know the men can dunk.
right,
Some women can, right? But the majority cannot. It just
right,
changes everything. It really
right.
does.
And again, this isn't for us that we're not saying, like, I watch women's basketball here, but
Absolutely.
I'm with the Las Vegas Aces. We've won 3 championships. You know what I'm saying?
Right?
Like,
Exactly.
seems pretty good.
Exactly. We got a squad.
But at the same time, you have to really be into basketball
Yes.
in order to appreciate women's basketball, right? You have
Correct.
to understand like plays and the flow of a game and the whole bit. What we're saying about boxing, just in general, or fighting in general, is you don't really even have to be an expert of watching fighting.
Correct.
You can watch 2 women fight and you can watch 2 men fight, and you're going to pick the one that's the most exciting.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Every time.
Right, right. So
Yeah.
speaking of which, and you know we got to talk about this one, Professor T, the most valuable promotions, which again, for all of you guys who listen to our shorts and I've seen some of the comments,
Right.
or listen to our episode 2s, neither me or Professor T has ever talked badly about the good things that Jake Paul has brought to the sport. We've never
Absolutely
even
not.
talked badly about how hard he works or how much he trains, or we compliment and commend all of that. All we said were, unless you're winning the same regulation gloves that all the other boxers are wearing, right? Like because there are arguments. Like I saw Nikisa Bidarian made some really good points on the Ariel Helwani show today, where he pointed out, here are some of the other ranked fighters at cruiserweight. So
Right.
why are you guys mad at Jake Paul when
Right.
this guy
Right.
who's ranked number 13 has only been fighting these losers, and this guy who's ranked now? And you know what? Fair play. He makes a good point. So again, I repeat, Professor T, me, you know, if you guys want to blame me for you guys were commenting, the only thing I'm saying was, any fights that are above 10-ounce gloves, when you're past the weight of 154 pounds, which Jake Paul is, that's cruiserweight division, is well past 154.
Right.
If you're not wearing 10-ounce gloves, then all of those fights down the line, every single one of those fights, Professor T, should go under exhibition, right? And do you have a problem with exhibition? I don't have a problem with exhibition.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
We might see Jake Paul versus Tank Davis as an exhibition.
Yes,
no
sir.
problem.
Yes,
That's
sir.
it. That's great. But whether Jake Paul wins or loses, and I'm sorry if I'm laughing a little, but whether Jake Paul wins or loses versus someone like Gervonta Tank Davis,
Right.
it shouldn't really count going towards his rankings. The
It's
only
not
thing
gonna
that should
matter.
count going towards rankings is if you played the same rules that everybody
Right.
else played, right? And in terms of rankings, he's only fought one time with 10-ounce gloves. That was against Tommy Fury. And
Right.
he lost.
Correct.
So, but, I mean, like those are just facts, man. You can't get mad if they're just facts. But but I saw a few of the comments, and believe me, we appreciate all of them. If you don't like what me and Professor T are saying, that's no problem. This is what the forum is for. You know, we're supposed to share minds. Again, when me and him wanted to start this channel, it's so that we can actually keep everyone updated, especially during these times right now where there's boxing almost every single day.
Every day, ladies and
Right?
gentlemen.
You know, and there's nothing else
effect.
going on. If you're
No.
a USA fan, there's nothing else going on. So
That is correct.
might want to pay attention. So let me ask you this, Professor T. I know that Netflix, who is heavily invested into boxing right now,
Right.
dude, they did an HBO 24/7 style countdown with Amanda Serrano and Katie Taylor. Did you see that one yet on Netflix?
I haven't had a chance to see that.
Okay.
I
If
saw
you
that
see
it was out there though. Yeah.
Okay, if you see it, can I
Yeah.
just tell you that was very good. Like the
Yeah.
storytelling
Oh yeah.
was very good. It makes you. It doesn't matter if you're just a fan of sports, if you're a fan of women empowerment, if you're a fan of any of that, you'll watch the countdown and you'll go, I actually want to see this fight.
Right.
Very good storytelling. Very good storytelling. A few key things that's going to be new is there's hints that this Katie Taylor, happy birthday to you, Katie Taylor, who just turned 39 years old yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Here she
Shout
is
out to
fighting
Katie.
on Friday. right? Happy birthday to Katie Taylor. There are hints that win or lose, this might be it for her. And one of those hints is for the first time she has her father that's going to be in her corner. She wanted her dad to be with her for this one.
Interesting.
So could be the goodbyes. Could be the goodbyes.
Yeah.
For the 2012 gold medalist, someone who's really brought up women's boxing.
Right.
But Professor T, at the record of 24 wins and only the one loss to Chantel Cameron, who's also fighting on Friday, which we'll talk about in a sec. Katie Taylor is fighting Amanda Serrano, who has 47 wins, 3 losses, and 1 draw. 2 of those 3 losses are against Katie Taylor.
Bingo.
Right?
Right.
So here we are, the third fight.
Trilogy.
Who do you got? Because I know you watched the first 2.
I absolutely did. I'm going with Taylor, man.
Wow. Even though she's older?
I know. I am. I absolutely am. I think her experience and longevity is going to win it out.
Wow. All right.
I
You
think
that the legs could still handle the 2-minute round?
I think she's got one more left in her. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I think this could be it though.
All right. Well, she's getting paid, and again, they haven't. Salute Marcus Banks. Thanks for joining us.
Yes, sir. Shout out to Marcus Banks, my main man, always coming through and supporting, man. Appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
Hope you enjoyed the show.
She's, it's hard to say. I don't know the exact numbers yet, but from what I've heard, she's getting well over $6 million for this fight.
What?
Yeah, well over. And it could even go even higher, right?
That's
and
wild.
In fact, and Katie and Amanda Serrano for sure is getting at least the bottom number for her is $5 million. But it could be even higher than that. So if you're offered another one of those type of paydays, do you really say no? You know what I'm saying? Although this is quite the times where these 2 women are getting that. And in fact, they announced it today. Check this out. So Most Valuable Promotions, which is co-owned by Jake Paul and Nikisa Bidarian, they're doing a performance bonus. They announced it today. Check this out. It could go to anybody. It could be any of the fighters.
Yeah.
They're going to do a performance bonus. The performance bonus, Professor T, is $250,000.
That's some money.
Bro, that is 5 times the amount that the UFC gives.
Wow.
So, I mean, it's going to be kind of hard to tell. I mean, I remember purses that are 5 times bigger than that. You know what I mean? Like $250,000 for a bonus? Like, that's on top of your guaranteed money already
that's wild.
That you're going to get as soon as you weigh in.
Right.
So that's pretty exciting. That was announced today. They're doing a free portion that everybody will be able to see on the Netflix Sports and Netflix YouTube. There'll be 4 fights in there, and I mentioned one of the fighters that will be on the first 4 fights that's free on YouTube is Chantel Cameron, who had beaten Katie Taylor.
Yeah.
That's her one loss. That's her O.
That's her O. Yeah.
So everybody gets a chance to watch Chantel Cameron versus Jessica Camara from Canada. And then you'll remember this, Turf, because you probably saw the Ring of Fire, the Clarissa Shields movie, but they kept pointing to that Savannah Marshall girl, and you'll remember that Savannah Marshall is the one person that gave Clarissa Shields the hardest time.
Right. Shout out to Chewy. We got a super chat.
Oh, Chewy.
Chewy's NFL News and Podcast. Super chat. 2 GOATs here on panel. Appreciate you for coming through as always, supporting, man. Hope you enjoy the show.
Hey, thanks, Chewy. Appreciate you. And yeah, for you guys who they just started, by the way, Turf. They're him, Jason, and Chris did the Cover 3 podcast on his channel. So that's
Oh,
been
okay.
fun. That's been
Yeah.
fun times.
Yeah. That's what's up.
Chewy's a good
There's
man.
a lot of
Chewy's a good
shows
man.
going on right now tonight that we know
Yeah.
of, right? The Raider Connection, right? You got, I think, Leo and Jeff and Chris for Raiders. Those guys are probably rolling right now. But don't worry, we got a little bit of
Oh no, we
everything
got
for everybody. We got all angles covered. We're gonna get
that's
y'all
right.
all this content.
That's right.
Raiders
That's right.
and box.
Yeah, and again, we're getting through our technical stuff on episode 3. So, but Turf. So Savannah Marshall is fighting. So Savannah Marshall, who gave Clarissa Shields the hardest time, she's signed to MVP Promotions now.
Right.
And on the I believe she's going to be on the main card, but she's fighting Shadeja Green. And Shadeja Green, they were trying to build her up as do you remember Ann from Texas?
Say that again. Uh-oh. We lost Coach Angelo. And you guys are seeing my whole entire screen. This is not what you're supposed to be seeing right now. But I'm sure he'll be back here real soon. So I will pick up where he's left off. Well, we'll give him a second. I actually wanted to see if I could really quickly get my my channel back up in terms of where are we at here? Let's see if I can do this. Add channel. I'm looking for Instagram. So, yep. Let's see if this works. I think it might have worked. Let's see. Ultimate Raider, knockout canvas. Let's see what happens. Is it up and running? We didn't get Coach Angelo back. I wonder what happened. Hopefully everything's okay with Coach Angelo. We'll give him a few, right? Give him a few to see if he comes back. But yeah, since we're gonna wait and give him a few to come back, let me just double check and make sure I'm not missing any messages live. Yeah, so Chewy, the Cover 3 podcast we're doing on Tuesdays. Tuesdays for the Cover 3 pod. I like it. Hopefully it's not at the same time so that way I can join that right before or after mine. So either way, as you know, man, we got so many people, so many things going on. It's almost impossible to not have, everybody pretty much going at the same time. But we get it through, man. I always go back and watch as well. So, yeah. And I think we're getting Coach back. Might be getting Coach back. Pretty sure we are fine on this side. And there is some news that I definitely want to talk about, but I want to wait for him too. But we've already discussed the Katie Taylor fight, right? 3-time Olympic gold medalist in Katie Taylor, for the people that don't know that. In the Trilogy fight, right, against Amanda Serrano, Madison Square Garden. That's this Friday. This is a stacked card. It's a really, really good stacked card. I think it's all women too. It's all women. So, and I've already discussed why. You know what I'm saying? You would much rather, watch boxing as far as women's sports, if you will, as opposed to something like basketball because of the 1-for-1. We got Rock in the building. It's cracking Rock. JK, sup, y'all? And as I told y'all, computer froze. He's coming back. Told you he's coming back. Promise you he's coming back. You don't got to worry about it. But yeah, so that's what it's looking like, man. There is a high stakes rematch potentially on the horizon, right? Undefeated heavyweight Alexander Usyk, right, will face Daniel Dubois in a rematch at Wembley Stadium, July 19th. And he's back. He's back. He's back. He's back.
Sorry about that, Professor T. Had to check on you on our, if you guys haven't followed it yet, the Knockout Canvas on Instagram. Had to go on there real quick to let Professor T know I am coming back.
Yes,
Sorry
sir.
about that. My computer just froze and said it had some error or something. Anyways,
good.
As you were saying, and you're gonna break some news also. with this women's card, 250,000 is the performance bonus. So that in itself, that's big news. If I wish I was on this card, just the 10% on that alone.
Yeah.
I'm taking that. That's nice. That's pretty nice. That's number one. Number two, this is the Guinness Book of World Records is going to be showing up to it because it's got 17 world titles on the line, 3 undisputed championships. As I've mentioned, even the female who had beaten Katie Taylor, she's on the free YouTube portion. So guys, just go to Netflix Sports or Netflix on YouTube on Friday, starting at 3 p.m. Pacific. It's going to be on there, and then the greatest part of it is it's on Netflix for free. And as you know, Professor Turf, the Netflix thing, I think they're doing this also as another experiment to make sure that the Canelo Crawford one goes pretty well, right? They want to test the waters.
Right.
And, just in case 300 million people actually do watch Canelo Crawford, they want to make sure that the channel won't freeze like it did for Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson.
Right. Sam Tonka's in the building. Shout out, Sam. Appreciate you for coming through, man. Hope you enjoy the show. What's up, Turf? What's up, Angelo?
Yes, sir. We're almost finished covering the women's boxing that's going to be happening. It's in New York, Madison Square Garden. They're projecting a sellout. Friday starts at 5 p.m. on Netflix, 3 p.m. on their YouTube, and that's both Pacific times.
Right.
But Turf, so you're saying you're going with Katie Taylor for the win.
I am.
Are you saying Katie Taylor for the win close? Like it's been the last 2 fights?
Yeah, I don't think it'll be out of control. You know what I mean? And I see Rock. Rock, you got some questions, man, and I'm curious. I'm curious, do you know anything about this? He's talking about the race of the fight. And I'm assuming he's meaning, black, white, but isn't Taylor and Serrano there what? I don't think there's a race issue. Or maybe, because he's saying expect the race thing to make its ugly face during this bout. Which bout are you referring to?
Yeah, because Katie Taylor's from Ireland and she's Irish.
Right.
Amanda Serrano is Puerto Rican.
Right. I don't see that being I've never heard of them having
all
much
the undercards. There's definitely Alicia Bumgarner's the co-main event. She's African American from Atlanta.
Right.
Jennifer Miranda, who is their opponents from Spain.
Right.
So I don't know.
Yeah, that's an interesting, but that's why I wanted to know because sometimes, a lot of the times race is brought into boxing. Let's not be naive right? This stuff happens all the time, right? Black fighters calling white fighters the great white hope and you know what I mean? Black fighters being called with that. You're absolutely right. And that's why I wanted to make sure we didn't just dismiss that because
no.
race comes into play a lot.
If you can make it a little bit more clear, Rock, that would help us out.
Exactly.
This is one of those fights where when we're looking at it on a global business scale, there are so many international fighters from Australia, from the UK, from Brazil, that I think this is Netflix's plan. And don't be surprised if this is what also happens for Canelo Crawford.
Right.
Even though Canelo Crawford are the headliners, don't be surprised if you see a bunch of UK fighters, Scottish fighters, Irish fighters.
Yep.
Because remember, 300 million viewership throughout the global population.
Right.
I think they want to get every single household that they can.
Correct.
To make it work. So
absolutely.
But all right. So you're going Taylor. I am gonna make a prediction and say, and it's not that I'm going against Katie Taylor, so
right.
I want you to hear me when I say this, Professor T, all right? And for all you Irish fans, can I just say, please, I love Katie Taylor. I adore Katie Taylor. I think she is by far the greatest women's boxer as of right now. I mean, the only other person I would say that I can make an argument with is it's between her and Lucia Riker. And I still put Lucia Riker above Layla Ali. I think Layla Ali did a great thing for the sport, but I still have Lucia Riker because all you guys got to do is look her up on Google and you'll know what I'm talking about, man. That's the only female I know that went into a Muay Thai ring and fought a man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, that's some real dogs. And you remember from sparring, Professor T, if you got a woman to spar you, then she's bringing it. She's bringing it extra.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
She's not just gonna let you pound her. You know what I mean? She's bringing it extra. So, but I'm gonna say that this is one of those fights that, unless Katie Taylor at 39 years old can go back to her Olympic roots and somehow move around the ring,
right,
and outbox Serrano, if it's close. And you might even say, oh, they robbed that girl. But I think they will. I think they're going to give it to Amanda Serrano, bro.
Right.
And I'm not trying to – we already saw Lamont Roach get cheated.
Yes. Wasn't cool.
That wasn't cool. So,
wasn't
and
cool
it's not like we haven't seen this stuff before. So I think that there's this growing narrative that, if it's close, that just because the first two fights were close – they're most likely going to give it to Amanda Serrano. But I do hope that they call it straight. There's going to be so many viewers watching it. I hope that there is no controversy. And more than anything else, I hope that it's every bit as good of a fight as the first two. Because if they live up to that expectation, this $7 million, $6 million first expectations, we're going to have our female version of Gotti Ward. Right? We're going to have our female version of what Gotti Ward is.
Shout out to God, family, and Raiders for life. Just pulling up to hit the thumbs up to show support on all the channels. Appreciate you for coming through, my man, and hope you enjoy the show. As always, we got Just Raider, baby, in the building. Salute, Angelo. Salute, Ultimate Raider Fan 32. My guy, Just Raiders.
Man, thank you.
Fire show. Yeah, he does a fire show at Rundown on Saturday morning.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Baby, guys.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Jay.
So we're just finishing up with the Netflix boxing news. And if this does work out, the one thing I was going to tell you, Turf, is kind of breaking news today, and everybody was shocked. But Turki Al-Sheikh, who you and I both oftentimes talk about because he's been funding boxing for the last 2 years now, right? He's the commissioner of boxing. He is the money, right?
Right.
He took a picture today, did a meeting, and he also posted it out for the whole world to see with him and Jake Paul, bro. What do you think?
Hey, you trying to make that money? That's what's going on.
Man, I never thought that the Jake Paul and Turki Al-Sheikh would be eating bread together, but you never know, man.
It doesn't shock me at all. Money and entertainment, they go hand in hand. All right.
Yeah, we might not see Jake Paul versus Gervonta Davis unless Gervonta bows the knee, bro.
Yeah.
He needs to bow the knee. So, but speaking of which, before we move on to our main title was Who is the Lightweight King? You want to tell us the news that you were gonna say, Turf?
Oh yeah. So Yeah, I don't know how anyone's gonna feel about this, or if you've already brought it up. I don't know. I haven't heard about it yet, so it's breaking news to me. Boxing legend Ricky Hatton is back. Former
Okay.
two-weight world champion Ricky Hatton, now 46 years old, is planning a comeback in a scheduled middleweight bout against Emirati boxer Issa Alda in Dubai on December 2nd. This marks his first competitive return since 2012, stepping beyond his 2022 exhibition with Barrera. Yeah, that's new news to me.
So first question is, do you remember the exhibition bout with Barrera? You do?
Yes.
Okay. Because Barrera looked really big.
Yes, it looked wild.
It'd be like if we put you on pads now, right, Professor T? He looked much older and much bigger than he was in his
Yes,
prime.
absolutely.
And then, from what I understand, the Emirates fight that's happening there in Dubai,
Right.
it's an exhibition, isn't it? Kind of like what Manny Pacquiao did with the Japanese fighter, Floyd did with Logan Paul.
It doesn't say exhibition. So, maybe he's pondering. I have no idea. It's just what I caught a headline from the 7 out of UK. It's the Times out of UK that's
Right.
promoting
Right.
it. So,
No, that's definitely interesting because, as you know, from our time of when Ricky Hatton was coming out, I mean, Ricky Hatton was the UK boxing.
he
Like,
was the dude, bro. I loved Ricky Hatton.
yeah.
I loved watching him fight. He was straight up entertainment.
And the fact that he was able to get UK to fly to Vegas. Like,
Yes.
they were coming into
The whole
man.
country.
Right? There's only one
Ricky Hatton. Bro, that was so fire. Shout out to UK Ricky Hatton and the whole kit and caboodle, as they say, man. I thought it was amazing. I always was a Ricky Hatton fan. Period.
How can you not be?
I'm
you not
period.
be, right?
Yeah, yes.
You know, and
course.
and there are fighters. That's like the mold. Like when we were just on Saturday, you and I were doing a watch party. The fight was happening in Manchester, where Ricky Hatton is from, right? And and you saw like the fans come out, like they come out for fights, right? It's a regular thing for them. It's a regular Saturday night, regular weekend thing that happens. Everybody, he's like the mold. He's like the goal. The goal is, can you be this popular? Can you be so popular that everyone is willing to come out and spend their hard-earned money to watch you, whether you win or lose? So that was Ricky Hatton, man. And believe me, we saw him lose to Floyd.
Oh, yeah.
But, man, that was fun.
Hell of a fight.
And I was there, Turf, when I watched them when Pacquiao knocked him out. But that was fun. He really brought the UK crowd with him. So
100%.
Yeah, the gold standard. But yeah, no, that I wish him well, bro. As you know, in about another week, Manny Pacquiao, who is 46, is fighting for the world championship against Mario Barrios. So maybe Ricky Hatton's thinking, hell, if Manny can do it, you know what I mean, right? So
now, what is your thoughts on that? Do you agree with it? Disagree? Do you care? You don't care? How do you feel about seeing somebody like a Pacquiao fighting like this?
Yeah, for me, again, fighting, and you know this, you know this, being around all the different people you've been around, Professor T. You have to have there's a little bit of a different mentality when you're a fighter. You know what I'm saying, right?
Oh,
it's different than playing football or basketball or baseball. And believe me, I've talked to all the other athletes, but to want to train and run and the running and the jump rope and the rounds and hitting the bag, and you're training so that you can get in a ring to get hit in the face. And when you're sparring what, every other day, 100 rounds throughout a camp, right?
Yes.
So repeated getting hit, And then you're going to get in front of, I don't know, anywhere between 10 to 90,000 people to watch you
Yeah.
at your most rawest form I mean, because you don't know if you're going to win or not. Like, every fighter goes into ring believing they're going to win. But you can end up being a meme, bro. You can end up being a meme.
Can be the worst day of your life.
Right. So the emotional roller coaster of it all, what I always say is, I don't like trying to tell a fighter not to do something that he wants to do.
Right.
I in the past I would advise if they're not at the level of a certain way, right? If they're not at a certain level, but they still want to fight, then if there's an avenue for them to do that without getting seriously hurt, I won't take it away. I won't say, hey, you can't do it. Because that's the thing, bro, is that and you'll know this, you yourself. You would have this attitude that if somebody told you, you can't do that, Professor T, you're too old. What's the first thing you're gonna try to, you know what
Get
I'm
ready.
saying, right?
Get ready.
Like, let me just see what happens.
Get your popcorn ready, because here I come. Absolutely. Challenge. Challenge. Let's go.
Right.
No,
so that's where I feel like if someone in Dubai and there are UK people that are willing to fly and they're willing to watch Ricky Hatton get into ring, then why not? Because people are sitting there. I mean, we just have to deal with the whole Jake Paul Cesar Chavez thing, and then Cesar Chavez gets arrested by ICE. You know what I mean? Like, if we're watching that crap,
right? No, I agree. The only reason I would be okay with it is if he's fighting people that make sense. You know, I wasn't okay with Pacquiao going and fighting a young Abdullah Mason, for example. Like, you know, come on. Why get this old man hurt?
Right.
I'm not with any of these fights where he's literally got a chance to just be lights out.
Right.
And that's really all I care about.
Right. And you know what's interesting when you say that is no one's talking about that with Manny being 46 and Barrios being 10 years younger. Nobody's really scared of Barrios knocking him out. Have you noticed?
And I think that's an issue. I think it's an issue. Hopefully Barrios is the nice guy and he doesn't have that dark side, because he could potentially create a sad day for the entire world, if you will. I wouldn't wish that on anybody but Jesus. Like, I mean, Manny we've already seen him get knocked out in a way that, it's not kind. So,
but like I said, Turf, from what I'm hearing and what I've seen, I'm telling you, man, that plus 285 right now is looking pretty good. It's just, and the only reason why I'll say that is we saw Barrios on the Netflix card last year,
right?
And he did not look good, Turf.
At all.
He looked horrible.
No,
do you improve from looking horrible? I mean, you know what I'm saying, right? Like, if you
especially to come out and fight an old man that nobody expects you to lose to.
Right. So if Manny Pacquiao does it and he's the new WBC champion, I will 100% agree with you that I do not want to see Manny Pacquiao fight Brian Norman Jr. You know what I'm saying?
No. Oh, that would be horrible.
I mean, Manny is literally old enough to be his dad. Like, I do not want to see him fight Brian Norman Jr., who is fighting Devin Haney in November, right?
Right.
Don't want to see that. There are rumors, though. I just want to let you know because it's in the same promotional group.
Right.
The rumor is if Manny Pacquiao beats Barrios and he becomes the WBC champion, you know that he will continue and his next fight will be a unification fight against the WBA champion, Rolly Romero, bro.
Oh, Rolly. Okay.
That's the rumor. That's the rumor because Rolly Romero's with PBC.
Right.
And Rolly Romero, who claimed the WBA title when he beat Ryan Garcia in New York in May, right? Boots Enos left. right?
Yep.
I told you, man. As soon as Boots Enos left the building,
Everybody
came out. They were like, "Oh,
I'm
I'm ready now.
outside.
I'll move up to 147."
I'm outside. Yeah.
That's because you already know, man. And when we talk on probably on our next episode, but you know how both you and I feel about Boots Enos, man. He's the truth.
Absolutely.
He's the truth.
100.
He's been the truth for the last 5 years. Just people. He's been kept in this weird little island where only UK people and outside of the US people knew who he was. But no, man, Boots Enos is your Roy Jones Jr. of this era.
Absolutely.
So. Speaking of which, I was going to ask you on to Roy Jones. Did you see the shots fired by Floyd on his social?
I did. Well, I saw the shots fired, meaning Floyd Mayweather watching my man, get knocked out. Yes, I saw that part.
You saw that?
I don't know if he actually had words around it or actually said anything after the fact. That you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Well. So it was springing from 4 weeks ago. Roy Jones Jr. did the one-on-one interview with Andre Ward.
Right.
And then somehow Floyd's name came up. Like I guess how it'll always do. And me and actually Papa Rundown have had this very discussion before, where Roy Jones said, "There's no way in the world that Sugar Ray Leonard would lose to Floyd Mayweather." He said Sugar Ray Leonard would 100% beat Floyd Mayweather.
Right.
And his reasoning was that Sugar Ray Leonard was really mean and Floyd just wasn't mean enough.
Right. No, absolutely. I saw that. And a lot of people don't know that. I mean, yeah, a lot of people don't know that. It's never brought up, that mean streak, if you will, that Sugar Ray possessed. A lot of boxers that are great possess a streak that, it'll make you wonder why you like them as a human being, to be honest. It's right. I mean, that's part of why it makes these guys great, man. They got that edge.
Right. And shout out to Professional E. Thanks for joining us. Yes, Jerron Enos is the new Roy Jones. So speaking of Roy,
Professional E, shout out. He says Ennis is not the truth.
I thought he said he is the new.
No, it says Ennis is not the truth.
Oh
wow. Which I find to be a very interesting comment. And he says Ennis, the guy with almost 40 fights and only fought 2 champions. I mean, hey, that's actually a great point, but that's not his fault. No one will fight him. No one would fight him.
Thank you for saying that, because there was a $2 million offer for Brian Norman to step up, and Brian Norman said no.
Crickets.
Stanionis said yes, and then after that fight, after he beat Stanionis, he said, hey, in fact, Boots even said it. Boots Enos said, I will stay at 147 if you right now, Brian Norman Jr., guarantee me that as soon as you beat this Japanese dude, I'm next.
Right.
Brian Norman's camp, even to their own admission, said the reason why they didn't want to answer that is because they were focused on the fight. Okay, that's fair. But you can't blame Boots Enos when he said, Virgil Ortiz is right there and Turkey Al Sheikh's going to pay me a buttload to move up. And by the way, if you're moving up to 154, Turf, and tonight's show is not going to be the 154 show. Tonight's show is the 135 show. But at 154, man, they're killers.
Absolute monsters.
Right? Virgil Ortiz.
Monsters.
Xander Zayas, right? Bakram, Mortalazayev. Like, these are all killers, man. Sebastian Fundura, Tim Zhu. It's not like Boots was running towards a weaker division.
No.
Boots was running to a division that would knock out everyone at 147.
Yes. So, I agree. I agree.
So if anything, all that's happening is the boogeyman's coming. That's because now they can't run away from him. He's the challenger now, right? So but I already told you that the news is, and I'll let you know if I hear a tighter news. But from what I understand, Boots is either going to be on the undercard of Canelo Crawford to fight Boachuk. All right, that's the first. That's the first maybe. Like it's getting closer. Or if he skips September 13th and he doesn't fight Boachuk, then they're going to try to make Virgil Ortiz versus Boots Enos in the November card in Riyadh. Now, the reason why there is some traction happening with Boots Enos fighting Boachuk, and if you guys want to know who Sergey Boachuk is, he's the guy who fought Fight of the Year against Virgil Ortiz here in Las Vegas last November, and a lot of people felt Sergey Boachuk actually beat Virgil Ortiz.
Right.
So if you want to rewatch that fight, it was that close. So anyways, the reason why that could happen, Turf, is there's a rumor going around right now that the IBF champion, Bakram Mortalazayev, who you saw destroy Tim Tszyu, like absolutely wipe the floor with Tim Tszyu, right? He is, quote unquote, open to fighting Virgil Ortiz on September 13th at Allegiant Stadium.
Okay.
Now, the issue there, you already know, is Dana White doesn't want to work with Oscar De La Hoya, so we don't know what's going to happen. But what you could possibly see, and this is why I was saying, just wait until it's all getting signed.
Right.
The September 13th card, which is a stadium show here at Raider Stadium in Las Vegas, they're going to pack that house because you might possibly see Boots Enos versus Boachuk, Virgil Ortiz versus Mortalazayev, Canelo, Crawford. They're going to stack it and stack it and stack it. So, you know, they're just waiting for the news. But anyways, I didn't know that that's what Professional E was saying. I'd be more than happy to talk about how amazing our guy is, Boots Enos, on a different show, bro. On a different show.
Right. Man, Professional E, man. Shout out to Professional E. You have some eye-opening takes, to say the least. I'm just going to put it that way.
No, I like it. I love the commenting.
154 is a weak division, just like 147.
Wow.
Yeah, that's wild. I wouldn't say it's weak, bro. I wouldn't say it's weak.
And when me and Professional T, when we break down the 154 division, because again tonight we're going to break down who we feel is the glamour division, 135. But when we break down 154, man, 154 is crazy with killers, and that young cat Xander Zayas, man, he's coming up. He's about to get a world title shot at the end of the month too, from over there in New York. So yeah, 154's got too many killers. But anyways, I wanted to just finish with, so apparently Roy Jones said that during his prime, everyone in the world wanted to see Roy Jones Jr.
Right.
But during Mayweather's, like any of his eras, people didn't necessarily want to watch Floyd, but what they wanted to see was Floyd lose.
Right.
So then he was kind of making this whole point about, you know, you could be an exciting fighter like what Roy Jones did, versus you could be Floyd. And then that's when you saw Floyd, his rebuttal was, let me put up my really big screen in my fancy living room, and let me show you the 5 times Roy Jones Jr. got
knocked out.
K the F o'd.
Yeah. So, that's pretty funny.
Shots are fired, man. I don't think any exhibition matches will happen between Roy Jones and Floyd. But
I couldn't see that happening.
Yeah, shots fired. So, but anyhow, so Turf, the title of our show for tonight is Who is the Lightweight King?
Right.
And this is going to be a fun discussion. I'm sure Professional E and others on the chat on Twitter or Instagram or wherever you may be watching us on the Knockout Canvas will want to go ahead and say this is their guy. Believe me when I tell you, if Papa Rundown was listening to this show right now, or if he was on the show,
right,
he would be all about Tank, man. We will have to put a pause button on him to stop him from talking so much about Tank. But this is just the factual reports of who the top 10 are based on Ring Magazine. And this is why I wanted to bring this up tonight, because as you know, Shakur Stevenson is fighting this Saturday against William Cepeda, right? It's a very much anticipated fight at 135 pounds.
Yep.
I think that when you're talking about the lightweight division, 135 pounds. Again, what saddens me is that there are so many great American fighters in this list, and yet if we went to Starbucks right now, Turf, this is why we need to do a show like ours, the Knockout Canvas, so that more people know exactly who's the top, who are in the king of the court of the 135 division, right? Some honorable mentions I want to throw out there. Who is not in the Ring Magazine top 10 list of 135? My first honorable mention, Turf, is going to be Lamont Roach. Lamont Roach, who obviously
he's not in the top 10.
He's not in the top 10 because
it's garbage.
Turf, I know that you and I both believe that he really beat Tank, but the reason why is because he is currently the WBA 130-pound world champion. They have not relinquished that belt. He's still the champ. 29 years old, 25 wins, 10 knockouts, 1 loss, and 2 draws, right? But that's Lamont Roach for you. But he's not in the Ring Magazine top 10.
Speaking of, Papa Rundown in the building.
Papa Rundown's about to yell at me.
It's cracking. My guy, man, it's been a while. Yeah, it's been a while since I got to kick it with Big Bro.
Oh, Papa Rundown. Man, we're talking 135s today, and we're giving out the information, so I know you're going to have a lot to say. You might not agree with what me and Turf are going to say, though. But, all right, so Lamont Roach, honorable mention, but Turf, he is not in the Ring Magazine top 10 of 135. Another honorable mention, because he just moved up to it. We just watched him. Joe Cordina, who we just saw. You and I just did a watch party for him on Saturday. 33 years old now, 18 wins, 9 knockouts, 1 loss. Another honorable mention, and Turf, I don't know if you remember this fighter, but he had the knockout of the year. I think it was the candidate for 2024. This Canadian's name is Lucas Badi. 19 wins, 15 knockouts. You remember, I wish we could show it. We'll figure that out, how to show it. But remember he knocked out H2O Silv last year on Netflix?
Yep.
Right? So, again, not in the top 10, Turf. He's the WBA ranked number 5 at 135. But he's not in the top 10 for Ring Magazine. He's not in the top 10. Pitbull Cruz is another honorable mention.
That's not in the top 10?
Is not in the top 10.
Bro, I don't even understand the Ring Magazine at all, man.
Well, you're about to, because this is what I was saying about why I felt that 135 is really the glamour division. It's got so many killers in it.
Right.
That, but the reason why Pitbull Cruz is not is Pitbull Cruz, 27 years old, 27 wins, 18 knockouts, 3 losses, 1 draw. He's ranked WBA number 6, but he's also technically fighting at 140 because he fought 140 the last 3 times.
Okay, so no, that makes sense.
That's why he's like, we can't. We're going to keep you at the 140 part, right? All right, so honorable mention, Lamont Roach, Joe Cordina, Pitbull Cruz, Lucas Badi. Here's 3 names that you might not know about, but you might. I just want to test you out a little bit, Professor T.
Yeah.
One name is an MVP fighter. He's signed to Jake Paul's group. His name is Fradamil Macayo from Venezuela. This is a 32-year-old, 18 wins, 14 knockouts with only 1 loss, and he's currently the WBA number 3. The guy's a killer. If you want to watch his last fight, it was on the Most Valuable Promotions YouTube. You guys can check him out. Fradamil Macayo from Venezuela. Another one is the current WBO number 4 ranked 135-pounder from Argentina, Alan Abel Chavez, 24 years old, 19 wins, 16 knockouts, undefeated. These are all killers, Turf, all right?
Yeah.
And again, all honorable mentions, all ranked high in
Right.
their respected sanctioning bodies, but not in the top 10. And then the last guy I want to mention as an honorable mention, and Papa Rundown knows exactly who this is because I turned him up to this guy. The same way I credit you for making me actually pay attention to Abdullah Mason. Because I'll be honest, I wasn't even really like, I was like, he's kind of okay. And then you were like, he's my guy. So then I was like, all right, let me go all the way back to his amateurs, and let me go check all of his tapes. And then I was like, all right, this kid's pretty good. So this guy's from Cuba, trains in the Middle East, and is promoted by Frank Warren of Queensberry. His name is Javier Herrera, 21 years old, Turf, 17 wins, 15 knockouts, undefeated. And if you guys don't know who Javier Herrera is, you're going to find out real soon, before the year's over.
Yeah.
And when I'm saying the ages, you know, you got a 21-year-old, you got a 24-year-old, Pitbull's only 27, right? Lamont Roach is only 29, right? Like, this is none of these guys, Turf, are in the top 10. None of them. Okay?
Yep.
So, let me start with number 10. The number 10 ranked Ring Magazine. Ring Magazine considers this guy the number 10 best fighter at 135. The man's name is Abdullah Mason, 21 years old.
Hey.
19 wins, 17 knockouts. He is currently the WBO number 2, the WBC number 4, and the IBF number 13 contender. But we already know, Turf, that he is fighting for the World Championship of the WBO 135, which was vacated by Keyshawn Davis.
Right.
Who would be on this list but he didn't make the weight, so he's moved up to 140. So Abdullah Mason is fighting for the vacant WBO 135 in November in Riyadh against the number 9 ranked Ring Magazine 135-pound fighter. That person's name from the UK, Professor T, is Sam Noakes.
Hey.
Sam Noakes is 27 years old, 17 wins, 15 knockouts, undefeated. He is the WBO number 1, the WBC number 3, and the IBF number 6. So right away, when people say, man, boxing sucks, man, the fight doesn't fight the best. Well, I just told you that the number 10 guy is fighting the number 9 guy.
Right.
For a world title in November. What are we talking about? What are we arguing about? Anyone who wants to hate on people aren't fighting the best or not fighting the best, what are we talking about?
Right. Right.
So, all right. Moving on, Turf. The number 8 ranked, according to Ring Magazine. And again, Turf, the thing with boxing is it moves so quick that every month the landscape changes, right?
Right.
But it was just this year that this guy was the WBO 135 champion. And then he lost it to Keyshawn Davis.
Right.
And then Keyshawn Davis lost it in the scales.
Right.
And
on the scales, yep.
Yeah. So, this guy, the number 8 rank, is Denis Berinchik of the UK.
Yes.
Right? I'm sorry, of Ukraine.
Right.
You know who that is. He beat Navarrete.
He's
19
older.
wins,
He's older.
9 knockouts, 1 loss. The 1 loss was to Keyshawn Davis.
Right.
And this guy was an Olympian in the same team as Usyk and Lomachenko and Vosdik, right?
Yeah,
so
he's old. He's on his way out for sure.
He's on his way out, but he's ranked number 8. So
right.
you know he's gonna get fed to someone. Right? Okay. Ranked number 7 still, Turf. Ranked number 7 still is a guy who was a highlight reel meme like we talked about from last year. Could have been knockout of the year, but there were so many great knockouts in 2024, it didn't win.
Right.
But do you remember when Gervonta Tank Davis knocked out Mr. Frank Martin
last
year? All right?
Yeah.
So Frank Martin is number 7.
Right.
30 years old, 18 wins,
right.
12 knockouts, 1 loss. That's number 7. So right away, it's like, all right, you can kind of see why certain people aren't up on the top and why those guys are there. So the number 6 guy just got ranked. The number 6 Ring Magazine lightweight is Floyd Schofield.
Hey.
Who knocked out Tevin Farmer, 22 years old, 19 wins, 13 knockouts, undefeated, and Turf. He is the WBA #1 to the winner of Tank Davis versus Lamont Roach on August 16th.
Right.
So that guy's #6. So you're wondering, who the hell is the top 5? Because here's the crazy thing, Turf. There's no Ring Magazine champion. Remember how the ring belt is only given to the person who either unified the belts, or is the lineal champion, which is the man who beat the man who beat the man. And right now, we don't have a man.
Don't have any of that
for 135, right? And I know Papa Rundown wants to say it's Tank, but it isn't Tank. There is no man. There is no man. There is no man. There's no champ. But he's going to hate the fact that it's going to be contested here in about a few days. Right. So the #5 ranked Ring Magazine guy is also the IBF mandatory contender. His name, sir, is the gold medalist, Andy Cruz. 29 years old, 6 wins, 3 knockouts. Just got an awesome knockout over there in New York on the undercard of Richardson, Hitchens, and Kambosos. And he is now training in Philly with the Roy Jones Jr. of today, Boots Enos.
Right.
Right. So Andy Cruz is #5. The #4 Ring Magazine ranked fighter at 135 is the current IBF champion, Raymond Murataya, right there where Papa Rundown lives.
Yeah.
That Raymond Murataya is 28 years old.
Yep.
23 wins.
And it's fine.
17 knockouts, undefeated. So those two are the next announcement. Andy Cruz versus Raymond Murataya is supposed to be announced here within the next few days.
Right.
That's going to be on the November card, Turf. So on the same night that you will get to see Abdullah Mason and Sam Noakes fight for the WBO, we'll also get to see Andy Cruz and Raymond Murataya fight for the IBF. So it's streamlining everything down now, right? We're getting closer. Getting closer. The #3 current Ring Magazine 135-pound champion, Professor T, is El Camarón, William Cepeda.
I was going to say, because it had to be Cepeda. You know, he's got to be in the top. Yeah, he's got to be.
Has to be. He's currently the WBC interim.
Yep.
29 years old, 33 wins, 27 knockouts.
Crazy.
That's a pretty good record.
Crazy.
33. That's a lot of knockouts.
That's crazy.
That's a lot of knockouts. Undefeated. And again, he's the interim champion. So we got 2 spots left. Does the chat want to tell me?
We already know.
Because you know we're down. Now, again, this isn't me. So before you start hating me and if this becomes a short, Angelo did not put the Ring Magazine. I'm not in charge of Ring Magazine. This is what the Ring Magazine says as of July 3rd. This is the July 3rd rankings for Ring Magazine. If you have a Ring Magazine, it will currently say that the #2 Ring Magazine 135-pound best fighter is Shakur Stevenson.
Hey.
28 years old, 23 wins, 11 knockouts. He's the WBC champion, undefeated.